Yeah, so crazy weather is in full swing everywhere. I was just listening to a report from California with that massive fire they're fighting. We're trying to fight, and the guy was saying that the airplanes cannot even fly, you know, the ones that drop water, because I guess there's too much smoke in the air. Here in Calgary, according to my car thermometer, it's +5 Celsius, which is crazy because just 2 weeks ago we were at -20. I think even 1 week ago, you know. And so this whole week is gonna be above zero, which is good for me because I work outside, all right, quite often, you know, chaining, strapping, stuff like that. So today is Wednesday, I think. Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, January 8th. My birthday is 2 days away. Yesterday was Christmas in Russia. Like, my mom keeps doing this, you know. She doesn't care about my holidays, you know. And she always congratulates me on their holidays, like, you know. So yesterday, all of a sudden, I see a new message pop up on WhatsApp, and she says, "С Рождеством, сынок." Like, what Christmas? We already had Christmas here. But I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm in a funny situation where, you know, the Canadian Christmas or American Christmas, it's kind of like foreign to me. But the Russian Christmas, we did not have that when I was there, because, you know, it was pretty much like New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day, because religious holidays were kind of like prohibited. But many people celebrated them still, but it was on a different date. I think it was later in January, but then they moved the dates. So now in Russia it's January 7th. And so sometimes my mom would send me this, like, you know, Merry Christmas, Russian style, like, but she doesn't care that we had Christmas on 24th. And then when my brother was talking to me, he would send me occasionally, he would send me like, you know, February 23rd is a big holiday. It's called the Soviet Army Day. So it's pretty much kind of like a, you know, Warriors Day or something. It's when whoever ever served in the army, or, you know, soldiers, everybody gets drunk. So it's a big holiday for all soldiers pretty much. So the day of the Soviet Army, February 23rd. And because I was in the army, so sometimes somebody would send me congratulations, like, you know. But honestly, I don't care about those holidays now, because, so you guys tell me, if you live in a different country, but you were born, let's say you were born in country A, but you now live in country B, do you stick to holidays in your new country or in your in your old country? So, of course, my birthday is the same, right? But New Year's is the same, thanks God. New Year's Eve. And yesterday we finished work at pretty much I showed up at dispatch at 3:30. I thought he would send me home. He says, well, there's one more pickup if you want to do it. 20 minutes away. 20 minutes. Okay, so I was supposed to pick up a scissor lift in a Freightliner. So I called the guy and I said, you know, I'll be there at 4 p.m. Is anybody gonna be there to, like, is the scissor lift accessible? You know, because sometimes, quite often actually, you know, you need somebody to open doors. It'll be inside locked, you know, because they don't want to leave it on the outside, especially when it's cold. And the guy says, oh, let me make a few calls, I'll get back to you. So I'm sitting there waiting in my truck, probably 5 minutes. I call him, he's not answering. Then he calls me back, and he says, okay, our office is looking into this. They're gonna call you back in a few minutes. Like, holy moly. So okay, now it's already like 3:45. They call me and they say, well, we're not sure. The entire place closes at 4, but there's people in the back there in the warehouse. They usually stay there until 4:15, 4:30. I said, okay. So I went to talk to my dispatcher. I said, hey, it's already like 10 to 4. The lady says they close at 4:15, 4:30. So I said, I don't think I should go. And dispatch says, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. And so I got off at like 4 p.m. Cleaned up the Jeep because it's Tuesday. You know, usually Tuesdays you can make something on Uber and Lyft. So I started the apps, sat there for like 20 minutes, nothing. So I went to a gas station, Co-op, where I get some points, and it was $1.47 per liter. Filled up because I was pretty low on gas. Still nothing. So I went home. Stopped at the liquor store, got some non-alcoholic beer, and went home. Played my accordion for a little bit, made some food, watched some movies, went to bed at 20 minutes past 8, 8:20. Then woke up at 10, thinking, shall I try another movie? No, went back to bed. So didn't drink any alcohol, so I feel very well rested. Packed my lunch. It's the same rice with veggies and beans I cooked 2 days ago because it's still good, but it's like the last of it. So don't have to spend money on lunch today. But I think I'm gonna stop at Starbucks here and get me a coffee, even though I did want to drink like maybe only once a week, because it does affect my skin, you know. I don't know. So I'll just grab a small Americano over here and head to work. So Wednesdays I usually a mixed bag. Like I said, at our business, it's Mondays and Fridays that are usually the busiest, because Fridays people return rental equipment for the weekend, because let's say they don't work on the weekend and they don't want to pay for 2 extra days, and then Monday they rent it again. And so Friday I have to go pick it up, and Monday I load it in our yard and I go deliver it, you know. Like, can be a scissor lift, a small excavator, I don't know, scaffolding. So today I'm definitely moving some scissor lifts, like the one from yesterday that was not picked up. And then my car is clean because I cleaned it up, but had no passengers, so I'm gonna do Uber after work. Well, this is my first trip. I'm in a Freightliner. I definitely have to talk to the boss about the headlights. Like, they really need aiming, because they're lightening up the sky instead of the road in front of me. And again, I think I might be able to do maybe myself, you know, when I come back. But again, it's gonna be daylight. You gotta do it during the when it's dark. Just maybe, you know, pull up the truck towards a wall or something, and make sure that the reflection from the headlamps is on the same, you know, level. Because right now it's like this: one shines in there, one shines in the sky. But lucky for me, we have all these lights, so the highway 2 is pretty well illuminated. So I have two scissor lifts. One is a 19-footer, one is a 26-footer. And we're stopping here for some reason. Yeah, this lane is never good here because there's so much traffic coming in from the ramps. But it's too late to change lanes now, so I'm committed to the curb lane. Yeah, so I have one 19-footer, which means that it goes up to 19 feet, and then the other one is 26, much bigger and heavier because it needs that weight at the bottom, and it goes to 26 feet. Son of a gun, stuck behind this Pinnacle.ca guy. And what is this? Pinnacle Stainless Steel Inc. See, that's what happens, you know, when you're a driver. You can work like me for an equipment rental place, or okay, come on, buddy, come on. Nissan. Well, I'm not sure about that. Go before I change my mind. E. That's a Uber. The license plate starts with a letter and then there's a dash. So yeah, or you can work for a factory, you know, like some big places, like a factory or manufacturing, you know, facility. They have their own trucks. Or like Walmart, you know, Walmart, they have their own trucks. And actually in the States, they pay pretty good. And I think, yeah, you can make more money when you work like this. Basically me, right? I drive a truck of a non-trucking company, right? So this is an equipment rental place. They have their own trucks, so we carry our own products, right? The scissor lifts, excavators, you know, skid steers, right? So this guy works for a stainless steel place, so he carries their stuff. And I'm pretty sure you can, this way you can make more money than when you work for just a regular trucking company, when they, you know, dispatch you in the morning. Hey, you know, go to this place A, pick up a skid of horse shit, 10 skids of horse shit, and take it to place B, you know? Now in the news, just as I thought it would happen, Mr. Trump came up with a couple of jokes. Now he wants to assimilate Canada into US, and he wants to buy Panama Canal and Greenland, and I think next he'll want to buy China or something. I don't know. But anyway, I talked to a couple of guys at work. I came in the morning, and one guy was, you know, in the changing room, and I said, "Hey, you have your passport photos ready?" And he looks at me. I said, "You know, passport photos for your American passport." And he says, "What happened?" I said, "What, you haven't heard?" He said, "Trump wants Canada to become the 51st state." And we both agreed. I said, "That's just nuts." For some reason, nobody mentions this. Because we have, what is it, like 7 or 8 provinces, right? It's a country, but just like US, you know, has states, we have provinces which are their own jurisdiction with their own government. Like Alberta has its government, you know, Ontario has its government. So you cannot just kick out all these governments from all provinces and say, hey, from now on you're one country, like one province or one state. You know, even let's say forget about joining US, but let's say all these guys, you know, Alberta government, you know, British Columbia government, Saskatchewan government, Manitoba government, Nova Scotia, etc., Yellowknife, they sit down with Trump and they say, yeah, okay, we agree we have to become one jurisdiction. That would never happen, you know, because that's just nuts. Even before becoming part of the states. So if anything, we agreed with my conversationalist that if Canada decides to be part of the states, it'll be each province will become a state. Like Alberta will become, you know, Alberta state of US, and British Columbia will become BC state, but not just one huge state for the freaking, you know, 50 million square kilometers we have here. But I don't know. Yeah, if we were paid in US dollars, it would definitely be better. I think, because US dollar is much stronger. But then what's gonna happen with healthcare? Right now we have no payments. Right? We don't have to pay for any health insurance. It's all free. It's all part of the deal of being a Canadian. And then guns. Half of the guns that are legal in US are prohibited in Canada. I think that alone would be a huge problem for Americans who love their firearms, right? And so basically it's like, it's impossible. Like, you would have to rewrite all the laws, because Canada, it's not like US. It's very different in many respects, like especially legal system, everything. And so yeah, healthcare, firearms would be a huge problem. Taxes are all different here, right? Business structures, the way you know when you want to create a business, like we don't have LLCs, you know, like it's all different. So it's basically like it's BS. I'm telling you, like I knew that. Like I think his goal is just to disrupt the normal flow of life and just create as much havoc as possible. Okay. And now idiot Trudeau resigned. If you guys heard, our prime minister, which is like your president, resigned 2 weeks before the new president takes office. And so now everybody is double pissed off at him, saying that he should have resigned a long time ago. But not now. Now when, you know, we have this economic standoff, or we're gonna have this economic standoff with US, where the US is gonna slap 25% tariffs on Canadian goods crossing the border. Of course, Canada is gonna reciprocate. So it's gonna be an economic war. And we don't have a leader who decided to, you know, go away and hide in the bushes. And so choosing the new one, it's not that easy. So anyway, it's a mess. So 2025 is gonna be an interesting year, definitely. But one wish I have for the new year is for the war in Ukraine to end, so I can go and maybe visit my family before it's too late. My mom is 88. I don't know how much she has left. And of course my brother is still not talking to me, so hopefully he'll start talking when the war is over and Russians are sent back to their caves. So we'll see. So anyway, as you can see, the traffic is pretty heavy on this Wednesday morning for no reason. There's no snow, there's no rain. It's a bit dark. But I think the problem is there's just too many people driving to work. Rushing to work. I guess that's why they call it a rush hour. So yeah, first I'm dropping off the 26-foot scissor lift and then the smaller one. And of course, you know, that's the trick. Sometimes you mess up is, you know, when they tell you, okay, this is gonna be your first drop and this is gonna be your second drop. So you have to make sure that you load the second drop first, right? So the machine I'm dropping off on the second stop has to be closer to the cab, and the machine I drop off first has to be at the end of the deck. So you have to load them in the reverse order, right? And sometimes when you are, you know, new driver, you don't have too much experience, that's where you can make a mistake, and that's okay. You can still deliver the machines. It's just that you would have to unchain them and reshuffle them, which would probably cost another, you know, half an hour of time. Well, downtown looks as beautiful as ever. Yeah, with lights. Now where's the tower? I don't see. Oh, okay, I see the tower. The TV tower, they always have different lights. It's like looks very, very pretty at night. Okay, passing 32nd Ave. Next one is what? 16th Ave or Trans-Canada Highway. And then I'm exiting at 17th Avenue. Yeah, Blackfoot Trail. I called the guy, I said, hey, I'm coming with the scissor lift. Anything I should know about the building? He says, it's a commercial building, some kind of a... I said, does it have any signs? What's the name on the building? He says, oh, it's a former Chinese furniture place. But there's no signs. So okay, former Chinese furniture place. So it's kind of like when somebody asks you for directions and you say, well, you'll come to an intersection where the old school used to be before it burned down, and you turn right. So the same here. The guy says it's an old furniture place, but there's no signs on it. So that's not helping me, right? The only useful piece of information I managed to get out of him is like, I need to know, is it a house? Because, you know, sometimes people rent these scissor lifts for, you know, they do something on the house. I don't know, they install some decorations or something, you know? So is it a house or is it a commercial multi-story building? And the guy says it's a commercial building. See, a guy 2 cars from me even went into this lane because those guys stopped so suddenly. Now my little table here went down. That's okay. That's why in rush hour you gotta keep your distance. That rule I mentioned many times before, 747 or 737. So my Durango is super clean because I'm not driving it. That's what I decided to do because, you know, then I have to clean it again. So it's all clean inside, it's all clean outside, it's fully fueled thanks to the previous customer. So it's ready to go, you know, for another rental. But I'm driving my Jeep for Uber because it's much better on gas. But for rental, Durango is great because it's a big vehicle. People love it. And so far I had 2 customers. I have 5-star rating. You know, beautiful. I'm really looking forward to the summer when the prices are gonna double, and that's when I'll be able to make real money. So they're gonna be like over 200 a day, 220, 250. I think once I even saw like 270, because I can look ahead and check on the calendar what the pricing is, like recommended pricing by the rental company. It's getting warm here. The thermometer says +6 Celsius, which is what, 32 plus 1850. It's probably like 45 F. Yeah, this is my exit. And the guy next to me was just driving with the same speed, you know, not merging, not passing me. And I see his left signal was on, so he was trying to go this way. So why you not just go forward or step on your brakes? So I stepped on my brakes and he stepped on his brakes again, because he saw my light, I'm guessing, that I was trying to go this way. And that's a mess they created in Calgary, because they have this stupid system where, like, this lane, it's a entrance lane for people from the previous exit, and it's a exit lane for me. So I often wonder why we don't have more accidents, because they made traffic collide with each other, you know, instead of creating a separate ramp for oncoming and offgoing traffic. They make one lane. And that's a typical situation, right? So I'm trying to go right into this lane. The guy is coming to enter the highway. He's trying to go left, and we drive next to each other and we look at each other and like, holy, like, what do we do? You know, if we move with the same speed, I have to go this way, he has to go this way. Like, whoever designed junctions in Calgary is a total moron, you know? Like, I don't know, it takes a special talent to mess up the traffic like this. It's like they did it on purpose, you know? Yeah, I think in Ontario, when I lived in Ontario, the traffic solutions were wiser, because of course, I'm guessing Toronto was already pretty big, and so when they were building everything, they took into account the population size and projected growth, whereas here it looks like they built all the roads when Calgary was like a $200,000 town, you know, and somehow it's a big surprise to all these engineers that now it's 1.6 million. Oh, really? We did not expect that. But that's what all these problems here happen. Why? That's why we have such slow traffic, because they created these bottlenecks, like I said, as if on purpose. Should be a separate lane, on, off. like, you know, like in US, many times I see, let's say there's a bridge, right, like this, there's an overpass, and so if you wanna jump off, you take this lane, and people that are jump on, there'll be a lane for them after the bridge. So these two lanes do not have nothing in common. So people that leave the highway have their own lane, and people that jump on the highway have their own lane. That's how it should be. So basically they have too many entrance points to the highway, and that's why they had to make them like this. So they just have to make people drive like a little bit further to the next entrance, you know, and that would relieve all the BS we have to deal with here every morning. And this is 17 Ave. We're going towards downtown. And I'm like 4 clicks away from my destination, 2.5 miles. I flashed my rooftop lights for the guy who let me merge. Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman. And so yeah, do 2 deliveries, 2 scissor lifts, and then on the way back I have a pickup. That scissor lift that we were too late yesterday. So 2 drops, 1 pick, and then I go back and see what else they have. Normally my first run, I'm back at the yard at around 9, and then I do another run before lunch. And I take early lunch around 11 o'clock, my 30 minutes. So I'm gonna grab my plastic container from the Jeep, put it in the microwave in the lunchroom, heat it up. I love that rice, that brown rice, man. And then for dinner, I'm thinking I have some frozen fish in the freezer. So I'm gonna bake some fish in the oven. We still have illuminated trees, like Christmas trees, on the left. I'm in the left lane because I'm supposed to take a left turn.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Somewhere here. Probably at the lights, I'm guessing. No, before the lights.
Turn left on 34th Avenue Southeast.
And that's it. So now he said follow 34th Street to the dead end and you'll see a gate. All right. A place that used to be a Chinese furniture warehouse.
In 300 meters, turn right.
Yeah, I see here it's a dead end. So I'm guessing it's this building. Yeah, with no signs. But yeah, the guy said they should have some kind of a ramp or something in the back there.
U-turn on 34th Avenue Southeast. Then turn left on 11A Street Southeast.
No, no U-turns. We've arrived. Yeah, somewhere here. So you see, always helps when you call people beforehand, so they give you some tips. Because otherwise, I would turn into that street because the address is on that street. But the entrance, the guy says the entrance is here. I'm guessing that's my guy over there. Usually, you know, usually I'm looking for contractors that rent this equipment while they work at somebody else's property. Well, machine 1 is done. Heading over to stop number 2, and this one is complicated. I just got off the phone with the guy, and my paperwork says deliver 8 to 10. And they said call before going, because if you're there before 8, there's not going to be anybody. And that's why I guess my dispatch, you know, arranged it so that this is second stop, because this guy was already here, stop 1. So stop 2. So I spent like 5 minutes on the phone with the guy, and he says, can I text you the lockbox code? Lockbox code, like, I hate that. And actually I talked to my dispatch and we agreed that, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, you know, when people want us to bring a machine inside the building, like, we don't want to be responsible, because quite often if it's some kind of a, you know, like a contractor is working on let's say a new space in an office plaza or something, right? Like where somebody plans to open like a retail store and there's nobody there, so they give you a code and you're supposed to bring the machine in. But quite often, you know, it's like a regular door, right? And so it can be like, I don't know, 3-4 inches of space on each side. Sometimes we do it, but I always go by what my dispatcher tells me. But normally, yeah, we try not to deal with, like, it's their responsibility to, let's say when I go to pick up something, the customer must have the machine outside. It's not my job to bring it from inside the building and where I can damage his doors and walls, right? So it's the, you know, liability thing. And so this guy starts with the lockbox right away. My inner radar goes on alert. I say, lockbox. I said, you want me to leave the machine outside, right? He says, yeah. And I said, do I need a lockbox to leave it outside? Is there like a gate or something you're not telling me about? And he says, no, but you're gonna leave me the key, right? I said, no. We have a simpler way of doing that, especially since he says, so I'm gonna be there at 8:33, and he says he'll be there at 9. So the machine will sit for half an hour, no big deal. But basically, just to give you examples of what these guys are using these machines for, like I saw this guy, the previous stop one, when I drove the machine inside the building, but it had a bay door, right? So no issues. I just drove it in a couple of meters inside the building. Okay, this is a crazy intersection here. Yeah, you cannot, like, there's traffic. It wants me to go left, but there's traffic here from both ends. Actually, it's not too bad now. No, yeah, people are flying from that side, and you see, like, the angle here, it's hard to see, so it's better to do this. That's one trick I learned at this particular junction. You go this way and then you come out at those lights, where actually I have to turn anyway. But instead of doing this dangerous maneuver where I can hardly see anything to my right, what the heck? All right, now we're good to go. Yeah, see, this way it's much safer when you can have lights, right?
In 300 meters, turn right.
And so it looks like, yeah, so the first guy looked like he was installing lights. He was installing lights on the ceiling, and so that's why he needed the scissor lift. The second guy says you'll see some signs on the north side of the building. You'll see signs, I'm guessing on a pole, and it says park the machine somewhere there, because that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be changing signs, and that's another thing people use these machines for. So I quite often it's electricians. Very often it's AC guys, you know, people that deal with heating and cooling. They have to get up, and yeah, a couple of times we rented these where people, like before Christmas, people were installing lights. Oh, you see, and actually I need this road, so instead of going like that and doing a turn, you see, I need this road, and I'm going straight. Beautiful. And so I'm only 3.6 clicks away from the drop. And the guy says, yeah, you'll see a building, go to the north side. And that's a challenge sometimes, you know, like in the city, right, where you go through all these streets and you turn and you turn left and right. Like, which way is north? But here in Calgary, uh-oh, that's not good. Wow. Like I was trying to unload that beat up Rex, and it hit the road. But one cool thing about Calgary is that all I need to know is which way are the mountains. You know? Like seriously.
Turn right.
Like for example now, I saw mountains this way. That's west, so that means that north is this way. You know? So pretty cool. Because you can see them from any points inside the city, but when you do like too many turns, you know, left, right, you may get confused. Where is the west, where is the north, right? And quite often people give us this directions, you know, like, oh, go to the north side of the building, or you'll see a dock on the east side. And like yesterday I had the situation and the guy says east side, and I'm like confused. I don't see the mountains because we were like in a dip like this, but then I see the
Turn right on 39th Avenue Southeast.
then I saw the TV tower, which I know is in downtown, right? So it's straight north, and so I knew right away which way east was, you know. But yeah, usually I have a good sense of
Turn right on the Cloud Trail.
I have good sense of direction. I'm very good with maps, thanks to my 17 years of experience as a long haul trucker. And then I had 2 years, probably 2.5,
100 meters. Turn right.
as a tow truck driver in my earlier days in Toronto. And now I've been doing this job since March 24. And I'm doing Uber, and I'm doing Lyft, and I'm doing food deliveries, right? So it helps. So yeah, I find in my case, like this job really augments nicely the Uber Lyft, because it, you know, I'm relatively new in town, and so each day I learn more and more about the city's geography.
Turn right on the Cloud Trail.
Either when I'm doing Lyft or Uber, or when I'm doing this job. So the more I drive, the more I learn, and I become a better driver. And this is what? McLeod Trail. McLeod. Remember the movie about the immortal McLeod? That was like a century ago, but great movie.
In 1.3 kilometers. Turn left on 25th Avenue Southwest.
So yeah, I'm going towards downtown, so that's north. Better go this way, because the GPS says I'm turning left in 1.1 kilometers. Yeah, when I'm driving, I'm always looking for the next instruction, you know, which way I'm turning, left or right. This allows me to choose the proper lane beforehand, you know, and not do like most people do, try to change lanes at the last moment. So now you guys can see better, right?
Speed camera reported ahead.
Speed camera. Oh, I know there's gonna be a very bad, I think that was it. Yeah, butthole. Basically a recessed manhole cover. We have this is an interesting area where they decided to create cemeteries. On this side, on that side, it's all cemeteries. And we are just south of downtown. Wouldn't it be better to build some condos in here? And I can see the tower, the TV tower. It's a good thing that I went into this lane beforehand, because it's pretty packed. And from here, you know, downtown looks pretty good. Those skyscrapers and the TV tower. And I'm using Waze. And one cool feature I discovered, I did not notice it before, but it shows you when other people are using Waze nearby.
Then turn left.
They call them Wazers. You know, like it like for example now it's blinking, it shows me that there's somebody at the intersection there that's also using Waze. Is this one? Yeah, so I'm turning left here. Oh, finally the dark has lifted off, and each time with huge satisfaction I'm watching, you know, when I'm opening the weather app, I see that the sunrise is happens earlier and earlier, and the sunset happens later and later. Well, this is the time my late dad really enjoyed, you know, when things are moving towards the spring. But of course we're not out of the woods yet. Usually here March can be the worst month of the year, with super low temperatures and lots of snow. It was the same in Ontario. You know, you think you're almost done. Hey, you know, March is already technically spring, right? Because winter, calendar winter, is only December, January, February. But then March is a real killer, because that's kind of like the worst. When you think the winter is over, hey, you know, spring is here, and then March, huge snowstorm, you know, 50 feet of snow. Not fun. And I was at this intersection many times during the summer when we had Stampede, because over there to the right on the other side of the tracks that's the what is it called, Scotiabank Stadium, kind of like that's where a lot of hockey games are happening, you know, and that's where Stampede was, and there was like a sea of people trying to cross the street because the traffic was so bad. A lot of people were just walking, you know, towards this place. But I did not catch the Stampede fully with my taxi services, because I only had Lyft license, and Uber took another month
Use the left lane to turn left. Then turn left on 25th Avenue.
after the Stampede to issue me the license, and so I couldn't do any Uber work. All right, we're getting close.
Turn left on 25th Avenue Southwest.
Left? What are you talking about?
In 600 meters, turn right on 4th Street Southwest. In 300 meters, turn right.
Man. But the good news is that I know that that's west and that's north. So once I turn on that street, I'll be looking. Yeah, okay. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, sunrise. 8:38 a.m.
Turn right on 4th Street Southwest.
Right here. Man, so this place is right on 4th Street. But that's north, okay. And he said something about parking. All right, I have to focus now, guys. So, but this is it. This is the reality how we do these deliveries, following customers' instructions, try not to kill too many civilians, you know.